Hey there. Welcome to the Opt-in Podcast. I'm Melissa Franks, your host, and this is where we go from surviving to thriving in business. And you are listening to this at the tail end of 2024. Almost said 25, guys. I don't even know where my brain's at today. And there's something I know to be true about this period of time. Either you were stressed out beyond belief because you're pushing to get to the end of the year and hitting the goals that you set for yourself, or you've already hit the goals and you're taking a break, or you're so far away from your goal that you're frustrated and you're being an ostrich and you're putting your head in the sand. And all three of them are the right thing and the wrong thing. And here is why I'm going to tell you that. And we're going to talk about strategies with what to do with the last few weeks of the year. And I'm not going to talk about focusing on ending the year really strong, because I think it's that ship has sailed. Like you've either done it by now or you're not going to. And so I want to give you just, I don't know, probably do 3 or 4 tactical pieces of advice for what to do with the last few months of December and how to show up in 2025 in a new and different way. Now, anytime you turn on the news or social media right now, there is so much noise about tariffs, and this is not going to be a political conversation. I'm not going to talk politics with all of you. I did it once in a podcast. I'd do it again at some point, but that is not for today. What the reality is that whether you understand what a tariff is or you don't understand what a tariff is, which there are plenty of people out there that don't understand what tariffs are, it's creating fear in everybody about everything. My sister yesterday said that they're going to delay taking out the loan that they wanted to take out to do a renovation on their home because if the tariffs happen, the lumber is going to get scarce and more expensive and the loan won't go as far. Okay? So she's making a decision in her personal life not to move forward with something. You will have other people, maybe you actually sell products that are manufactured overseas. You may make a decision to do a massive inventory buy because you're concerned that there are going to be tariffs from China that are going to impact the cost of your goods sold. You could be a made in America perspective. And so you could be thinking, I am going to be in such good shape next year because my costs aren't going to go up. Everybody else's costs are, and I'm going to be the best deal in town. You could be thinking a ton of things. But the fact of the matter is that tariffs and the global economy are creating a bunch of disturbances right now, which make people nervous. And when people are nervous, people typically don't spend their money. So while I will tell you all day long that it's not the economy that's impacting your business, what is impacting your business is the buyer's mindset. What is impacting your business is the buyer's mindset. And this is something that you need to be really, really aware of. And so the first tip that I'm going to have you do is in the last couple of weeks of December, what I want you to do is I want you to go look at your review, look at your year in review. And what you're going to do is you're going to go month by month. And you're going to ask yourself a series of questions and write down the answers. What was my revenue in January? And how much cash left? How much cash came in? How much cash went out? And what was my revenue? Okay. And then you're going to say, what was I selling in January? And how was I selling it? Was anything on sale? Did I increase my prices? Did I do it at a trade show or a live event? Did I sell it on the internet? How did you sell whatever you're selling? And you're going to go month by month and you're going to answer those questions. How much revenue? How much cash came in? How much cash went out? What was I selling? What was the price? How much did I sell? How many widgets did I sell? And how did I do it? And then you're going to look at your 12 months of data and you're going to say, what were the really good months and what was I doing and what were the reasons for that? And then you're going to look at the really bad months and you're going to say, what was I doing? What was the reasons for that? And what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to say, what can I replicate and what can I not? And I want you to notice the language I'm using. I say replicate, not duplicate. You know why? Because duplication means that you have two or more identical things. 2 or more identical things is duplication. I'm not asking you to duplicate. I'm asking you to replicate. So those really, really good months, can you replicate it? And in some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. There's a possibility that you had a public speaking engagement in one of those months that you did incredibly well, and that engagement doesn't exist in 2025. So the answer is you can't replicate those circumstances. The answer is you cannot replicate the celebrity that you had for having a speaking engagement and having a bunch of social content. So then you have to say, what can I do differently that will yield the same result? And sometimes you can come up with things and sometimes you cannot. But the best thing that you can do is you go month by month and you look at what actually happened is you ask yourself, can I replicate it? Can I do that sale again and see if I get the same result? Can I increase my prices at the same interval and see if I get the same result? And if you're new in business and you had a stellar year last year because all of the stars aligned and this was the moment where people found you, the answer may be I can't duplicate or I can't replicate last year. I can't replicate it because I don't have that shiny new car smell anymore. So then you have to start thinking about what can I do differently? And I'm sure that all of you have heard over and over and over again that boring makes billions. And that's because once you find something that works, all you do is you keep doing it over and over and over again. And you measure the data and you see what happens and then you make small tweaks and then you do it again and again and again. And the best thing that you can do if you're not in a cycle yet of iteration is for you to look at the last 12 months worth of data because that's significant and identify the trends and then replicate those. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to do is go look at the year in review and ask yourself just a couple of questions, put it down, and then determine what you want to replicate. And then the next thing that I want you to do is determine how and when and where you're going to replicate it. So maybe you had two things that worked really, really well, and you did them consistently throughout the year, and you want to do that again. So then you determine, okay, these two things worked really, really well, and I'm going to do them on a monthly basis. So you start to build your plan of what you're going to do, what you're going to replicate, how you're going to replicate it, and then you determine what you need. Do you need more humans to help you pull it off, to fulfill it? Do you need more goods? Do you need more investment? What do you need to ensure that you can replicate with quality consistently over and over and over again? And then the third thing that you are going to do is think about where are there gaps? So because I can't replicate 2024 exactly, and because I'm going to take the best and leave the worst, where is there opportunity and room for me to do something new or to do something more? And that is where you get to be creative. And I would recommend that because you know when your business tends to be slower versus busier, and some of it's because of things that you did do and didn't do, and some things are just because it's how the world goes round. Maybe your business is really slow during the holiday period because you don't sell things that are Black Friday worthy. Maybe you are incredibly busy during the holiday period, but the first quarter is horrible because people have just come off of shopping and they have no discretionary income. I don't know your business, so you're going to have to decide, but you're going to have to look and see and say, so when cyclically does it make sense for me to do things in my business and do I have capacity to do them? And that's where you inject the new. So you look at the past and identify trends. You determine what you want to replicate, how, when, and what it's going to take. And then with whatever is remaining, you determine what net new you can do. Okay? So right now is a perfect time, no matter whether you're pushing really hard or you're taking a break or you've given up and you're frustrated, to do the work. Because you have 11 and a half months worth of information that you can look at. And bonus, if you've been in business for a while, if you've been doing this for longer than 5 minutes, go look at the year before, go look at 2023, go look at 2022. I was just working with a client the other day, and they are running a Black Friday promotion and were concerned that they weren't going to see the lift this year that they've seen in the past. And so what I did is I went back and I looked and I saw that their two best days for the last 4 years have been Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The rest of the days during the holiday period are like any other day. Oh, what that means is that those are the 2 days when we send the emails and the text messages. Those are the 2 days where we double the ad budget. Those are the 2 days where we go hard on the business. And then the rest of the time, we just keep doing what we're doing, but we don't go crazy. And so we're trying something new. We shorten the promotion period and we focus on those 2 days that we know historically over the last 3 years have been the most successful. So go back and look at multiple years. The data will tell you exactly what goes on in your business. Of course, there's subjectivity for things that you do and don't do and choices that you do and don't make. But generally speaking, if you know what went on you can determine, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and this is the trend, and this is what I like and what I don't like, and this is what I want to replicate and what I don't want to replicate. Full stop. Okay. So the first big chunk of work that you're going to do right now before December ends is look at the review and decide what you're going to do in the next year. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to spend some time identifying what you need to eliminate from your business. This can be literally anything. This could be, I am going to change a team member. I'm going to change a service provider. I'm going to stop selling X, Y, and Z. I'm going to not have a physical office anymore. I'm going to stop the podcast because it's not really working. I'm going to just whatever. Identify what you're not going to do, because the exercise that we just talked about, generally speaking, was how can I do more? How can I do more of what's working, and how can I try more to see what else can work? We talked about more in that first step. And the second step is, what can I stop that's not serving the business anymore? What can I stop that's not serving me? What can I stop so that it's no longer a drain? So that is the second thing. This is so specific to you and how your business operates. And I can't tell you what that could be unless we actually spent some time together and looked at your business. But what I can tell you is that every business is doing things that are wasting human capital, costing the business money, aren't getting the return that you're looking for, are confusing to your clients, are fulfilled poorly, are ruining the customer experience. There's always some, always. So go cull the dead weight. Go identify what you need to push out so you can make room for what is better. Okay. The third thing that I want you to do after you've done these first two things, the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to define your goals for 2025. And I want you to define your goals for 2025. And then I want you to communicate them to your staff in early January so that they can write their goals. I want them to understand what you want to achieve in the business. And then I want them to come to you and recommend how to get there. For example, one of my clients that I am working with, they want to grow revenue and profit in one of their core offer suites. And the person responsible for that had never had a financial target ever. And I recommended to them that they go to the person in charge of that area and say, hey, this is our goal for 2025 for your area. This is the 6-figure number that we want to make that's pretty significantly larger than what we've done in 2024. How can we get there? And they were so nervous. They thought she was going to maybe run away, find a new job, etc. And what ended up happening instead is that they communicated that to her and she rose to the occasion. And she said, well, if that's really what our goal is, we need to stop doing this and we need to do more of that. And she helped craft her quarter by quarter goals in order to achieve the result that they laid out. See, sometimes the people on your team can see things clearly that you cannot. And that's because they're the ones executing, they're the ones fulfilling, they're the ones talking to the clients, they're the ones servicing the accounts. The good news about being an owner and CEO is that as your business grows, you understand your business less and less. The bad news is, as the business grows, you understand it less and less. And so what you really want to be able to do is take all of that historical analysis that you did. You want to be able to decide on what direction you're sending the business in 2025. You want to decide on the goals that you're going to set for the very, very top. And then you're going to invite everybody that works for you in to identify how they are going to help you realize those goals. They're going to come up with creative ideas. They're going to come up with course corrections. They're going to come up with efficiency plays. They're going to come up with ways to be more productive that you're not going to think of because you're not doing the jobs anymore. They're going to rise to the occasion if you invite them to do so. If instead you write your goals and then you give them goals, they're going to feel constrained and trapped. And they're going to feel like they have to keep doing what they're doing and try to rise to a higher standard. If you invite them to be a business owner inside of your business, and that's how I like to look at these things, I guarantee you that they're going to rise up. I guarantee you that they're going to take the invitation and run with it, because as much as there are hundreds of millions of people in the world that want to be employees and don't want to own their own business, they also want to have authority and autonomy. And the best way to do that is by inside of somebody's business. That's entrepreneurship all day long. And so with a little bit of rope and a little bit of room, you can invite every single one of your employees to own a small part of the business. It doesn't mean that they're getting equity and it doesn't mean they're doing profit share. But what it does mean is that they have the ability to make decisions and influence how a certain part of the business is going to perform. And when they're invested in the performance and when they see that they can actually take action and generate results and grow the business long term, which helps everybody, especially in small business. You feel it much more significantly in a small business than you do in a large business. You have stickiness with your employees. They stay for the long term. They are bought into the mission. They come up with new ideas. They help identify risks before you can see them coming. It's so good for the business for them to be able to define their goals that are aligned with your goals and then execute against them. This is how you create retention. This is how you create a good employee culture. This is how you create a lasting business. So that third thing is that you're going to define your goals, and then you're going to invite everybody else to define theirs. And then once you do that, you're going to come up with some performance measures. So you're going to figure out what data you're going to measure and how you're going to hold them to the standard that they set for themselves and how you're going to measure the results. And sometimes they're going to miss the mark, and you're going to have to be okay with that, because depending on how much data or how little data you collect in your business, they may not have enough of an information basis to determine if the goal that they set is a realistic one. And you may not either. So if you get a quarter or two and you're like, whoa, we're not making that goal, then you also need to take some responsibility to say, maybe I set the wrong goal. Maybe I did it from an ill-informed place. Maybe those tariffs really did happen and I thought they wouldn't, and the business isn't performing the way that we wanted it to. So you have to have some grace in the goal setting. You have to have some fluidity. You have to be able to call an audible mid-year and make a course correction. You have to be able to do those things. And if you are inflexible, that's when your business is going to suffer. You actually see your revenue go down. If you're inflexible, you'll see your employees be less satisfied. If your employees aren't satisfied, they're going to perform worse. If they perform worse, your business is bad. It's just the way that it goes. Okay? So those are the three key things that you need to do. Now, because you own the business and it's the end of the year, this last piece of advice may catch you sideways. And that's okay. That's okay. You need to take a break. You need to take a break. The one thing that I know about every business owner, myself included, is that there are no days off. And our kids know it, and our families know it, and our animals know it. And part of the reason that I'm saying that to you is because I'm standing in my office the day after Thanksgiving recording this podcast after I just recorded a draft speech for a presentation I'm going to be doing in January, and I'm getting on a plane on Sunday to go away. I worked for 3 hours yesterday for a client on Thanksgiving. The reason I know that we don't take days off is because I don't take days off, and all of the people I surround myself own businesses that don't take days off. You need to take a break. And what's cool about entrepreneurs taking a break is that one day equals like 1 week in the real world. So if you take a couple of days during the holiday period to just watch movies and eat candy and read a book or sleep or whatever, you have to take a break. You cannot go into 2025 tired. You can't. 2025 is an unknown entity. 2025 is going to be disruptive and frustrating. The world is on edge. Everybody's brittle. I would even wager to go out and say maybe it's hyperbole, but there's an overwhelming sense of hopelessness right now. And that's heavy. And it's going to be challenging to be a business owner in 2025. It's going to be uncertain. And so the best thing that you can do for yourself, the very best thing that you can do, is take a minute to breathe, take the time off, shut it all down. Nothing bad is going to happen. You have laid the plans. If you're running a bunch of promotions through the holiday, you figured out your ad strategy, you figured out what you're going to sell, you figured out who's doing what, and you've got the machine working. It's not going to break because you take a Friday. It's not going to break because you take a weekend off. You can do all of the work that I just laid out for you. You can do as much preparation as you possibly can for 2025. And if you roll into January exhausted, you're going to crash and burn. You just are. The most exhausting thing you can do in life is own a business. Whether you're making 6 figures or 9, you are exhausted if you own a business. And so the best thing that you can do is take care of yourself. Now, this is like a snack of a podcast. I didn't want this to be a long one. I recognize it's a holiday period. People don't have a ton of time to be doing stuff. I need to go put up Christmas trees because, like I said, I'm leaving in 2 days and these children want the house decorated. So I'm going to go do that. But please just take the advice, do the exercises, get yourself ready, and then take a break. That is how you go from surviving to thriving in business. So I wish all of you a wonderful holiday period. As we roll through the end of the year, I'm going to keep doing these on a weekly basis, so you will still be getting these wonderful moments of business brilliance in your favorite podcast player. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're getting a different setup from me today because I literally needed to stand up to record the thing I was recording before. So I wish all of you a wonderful holiday season and good energy while you do the work that I laid out for you. And until we talk next time, please know that you are wise and you are strong and you are brave, and I believe in you.